Hello, everybody, and today we're going to look at the number 21 greatest checkmate of all time. Of the 30 greatest checkmates on my list of all time, or at least my favorite 30 checkmates. Now, first of all, I got a couple messages that people sent me in my private messages of questions I thought I might answer. One person said, Mr. Dean, you put a lot of your own games in the top 30. Does that make sense? And well, I mean, those are my favorite games, and I think they're great games. So of course, it makes sense. I think it works really well. Another person wrote, "Mr. Dean, if you're going to include your own games, why don't you just include your 2-year-old son's games?" Okay, now come on. Do you really think I would include Alan's games? I mean, unless a great game, a great checkmate meant like picking up a king and smashing it into another king and laughing, then Alan is not going to be on this list. So let's go ahead and get to the number one 21st greatest, or the 21st greatest checkmate of all time. Now, today, we're going to do something kind of like we did before for the 21st greatest checkmate. We're going to talk about a pattern of checkmate. And this pattern of checkmate is known as the Great Greek Gift or the classic bishop sacrifice. Now, a lot of people aren't sure who this was invented by, but many people say it was actually Edgar Colley, who also, I think, invented the Colley system, which is known as kind of a passive system. So it's surprising that he came up with the Greek gift or classic bishop sacrifice. Now, here's a position I once had where I got a Greek gift, except this pawn was not here. Let me just go ahead and put that back there. So my opponent here went ahead and castled, and I was able to get this Greek gift. Now, the Greek gift is a sacrifice if you're white on h7 right here, or if you're black, it's going to be h2. And usually the Greek gift, you take it, and they don't have to take it, but if they don't take, there'll be a pawn down, and usually you can get a great attack after that. Let's just take a look if they don't take. Well, another thing about the Greek gift sacrifices is usually you have to be able to get your knight and your queen involved in it. So if they played that, I'm thinking possibly I might play a move like this with the idea of bringing the queen, with the idea of bringing the queen from here all the way out here for an attack. And that looks pretty awesome. Now, one of the most common things, of course, is if they do take. So let's say somebody were to take a Greek gift. Usually, in order to do it, like I say, you want to be able to get the knight involved. So where would you move this knight? I just kind of showed you, but pause the video and see if you can remember. All right, if you said knight to g5, that's correct. Now, this is, again, very typical of a Greek gift pattern, where the king has a few options, but none of them are usually great. What if the king moved here, for example? What would you guys do then? Pause the video and come back to it. All right, if you notice this discovery type check, you were correct. You could just play knight takes e6, and you're threatening the queen, plus you're checking the king at the same time. That would be pretty awesome. But let's say that instead of moving the king up, they moved back here. That might be the most common, proper way the Greek gift is played. And here, where would you move this queen to get involved in the attack? Stop the video and come back. All right. If you said queen to h5, then you were correct. 3 and h5 with the threat of taking down here. It's very hard to get out of this. If, for example, you can't play this, of course, because then you'll still get checkmate. Let's see. Well, that won't happen. You cannot really, if you play this, you're going to get into big trouble with probably a check, and that probably will lead to checkmate somewhere down the line. If the king moves here, maybe check again, boom, check, check, and you get the idea. Oh, I guess they could block with their knight there. So it's really, once you get the Greek gift, if you're playing it at the right time, it's usually going to be a pretty easy win if you're familiar with that Greek gift. So let's go back and let's just say when the king took here, you check and they move up here. Because I once had a Greek gift that was kind of like this. Well, I think a lot of beginning players think, oh, I'll just check at a distance or here, but usually you want to get as close as you can with the check. Now, this is obviously too close, they'll just take it. I mean, nobody would play a move like that. Let me try to think of who might even play a move like that. I'm not sure. Can't quite remember who would do that. But you definitely wouldn't want to play queen here. They'll just take you. So another spot to put the queen is right here. And now you're threatening a discovery check. And it's the same sort of thing. Another idea I've seen is in some of these cases where the king comes out, you can charge this pawn and threaten a check. That can be very good too. And those are just the basic themes. So let's take a look at one more Greek gift. And let's just say it's for black, because it could happen for black. I'm just going to kind of set up a position here where a Greek gift is possible. Just kind of maneuver the pieces around. Okay, so let's say this is the position here, and it's black to move. Well, where's your Greek gift here? Can you tell me where the Greek gift would be? Go ahead and stop the video. If you think it's bishop takes, you're correct. Bishop takes, the king probably has to take back, and you can continue with this check. Same thing as we looked at before, but for black. The great thing about the Greek gift and why it ranks number 21 on the list is this is very common. It's happens to a lot of people. It's happened to me many times. I know it will in the future. And I think it definitely deserves a spot on the top 30 greatest checkmates of all time. All right, guys, thanks for listening in, and we'll see you as we crack the top 20.